Welcome, everyone, to this Clubhouse event. Your energy, your health, be responsible with empowering solutions. I would like to now start by raising our vibration in the space we're in now by calling for the highest possible vibration and calling for the truth to come forward into our discussion today so that we may see the truth in all that we see, so that we may hear the truth in all that we hear, and so we may speak the truth in all that we say. May we all be in that frequency of truth, and shall we have nothing but the truth. Shall we call for the power of divine feminine to bring balance back into our world, showing us the way through honor, respect, and gratitude? Shall we call for the power of divine feminine to bring balance back into our world, showing us the way through honor, respect, and gratitude? Shall we call for the power of divine feminine to bring balance back into our world, showing us the way through honor, respect, and gratitude? Shall we call for the highest possible vibration? Shall we call for the highest possible vibration? Shall we call for the highest possible vibration? I now ask for everyone to take a sip of water and ask for the water to hydrate our brains and body. Water is the medium that holds memory and will assist in the flow of the information that we share together here on Clubhouse. Now take a deep breath in, bringing in peace, and release and exhale, letting everything else out. Take another deep breath in, bringing in joy and gratitude, and exhale out. And another deep breath in, bringing in life into our bodies, and exhale out, releasing all that serve us. And Lakesh and Veritas, everyone, I call for the oneness and truth of the information shared by each and every one of us on this call in this clubhouse, calling for the frequency of truth and all that is truth, with honor, respect, and gratitude to you all. For those who are unfamiliar with the term, the greeting in Lakesh is the Mayan greeting for oneness, signifying unity, where everything and everyone are interconnected. It is that idea of community where we share with one another ideas, goals, and aspirations. And veritas is the Latin word for truth, to see the truth in all things. So therefore, Enlocation Veritas is that declaration of oneness and truth in which we are clearing our spaces, the space we're in now, so that we are able to bring forth a truthful, elevated, and enlightened discussion this evening, clearing away those ill thoughts that we tend to pick up and carry with us from our everyday life experiences. Remember, our words have power, so it is important that we use words carefully, using words of upliftment, encouragement, and enlightenment. And by doing so, as a collective, will help to transform our spaces and places into higher frequencies that will result in better experiences and assist raising the vibration of those who we meet. So, Emma Kitchen Veritas, everyone, with honor, respect, and gratitude. And I'd like for everyone again to hold your water in your hands and with our intention in mind, send the frequency of Enlakesh to our water. And then take a sip of your water. And this will assist in signaling and incorporating the elevated frequency of Enlakesh into the cells of our bodies as we are made up of that 70% water. Using this technique will assist in the ease and flow of the information that we share this evening. All right, let's get down to business. Current events. News flash. Are you aware that people were waking up? It was a couple of days ago. People were waking up to find that funds in their bank accounts were missing. And this happened with Bank America clients along with Zelle. And they're calling it a glitch that each and each of them, both Bank of America and Zelle, are pointing a finger to one another. And apparently, this is news reported about a week ago, a week and a half ago. But I don't know about you, but I didn't hear this news until more recently. It wasn't publicized. All this other news that they want to push in mainstream media, they wanted to push, but they kind of kept this under wraps. And apparently, people were missing thousands of dollars in their bank accounts. And they woke up with charges being declined, zeroing out of funds in their accounts, unable to purchase even milk. So this is a taste of what could potentially happen with our funds when our monies become centralized. That control. So there've been talks about our dollar currency being replaced by digital currency, a policy signed by Biden in late December, expected to take an effect by late 2023, the end of this year, or early 2024. And in this report, was viewed as stated as that the digital currency will be something which could be turned on or off, controlling our purchases. And for instance, how much gas we purchase, how much water we can use, controlling what we're able to purchase, tracking our spending, and what we spend our money on. This is the reason why it's becoming more apparent that bartering sounds like a better way to go. When it comes to our money, if we can't get access to it, how are we going to be able to survive? And that's through community and bartering. And apparently, this is a system I understand is being already implemented in China. A few months ago, I don't know if you remember, I had reported how in China, someone who was jaywalking would be fined and deducted directly out of their bank account because they can see them through surveillance and tracking of their phone. And apparently that's it's happening for us as well. So now getting back to our discussion last week. Well, before I move on, does anybody have any comments? Has anyone heard about this, the digital currency and the funds being taken out of your account? Does anybody have an account with Bank America?
Okay,
Yeah,
Spiritas. I'm
yeah.
expecting gratitude. I heard about it when it happened. And I've been seeing some posts about people standing in lines, trying to get their monies, and they've been told um, that there's no answers. That was, last week. So
Yeah.
they're still, I guess, working on it. I don't have Bank of America, and I do have a friend that has Bank of America, and I was speaking with her a couple of
Hmm.
days ago, and she didn't have any issue. She said
Okay.
none of her funds were affected, but
Okay.
it has been. I have seen it. They have posted about it. So
Yeah, apparently when it did happen, they were not answering their phones. That's what the news was saying, that because people were calling trying to find out what was going on, and they just weren't responding. I think they did leave a message, call back tomorrow or something like that. So, getting back to our discussion last week, we need to start thinking about preparing for future shortages and figure out alternatives on obtaining resources when that time comes. Preparing for that. And Lota is heavily encouraging community. There's going to be a time where we're going to need to barter and exchange food for services and vice versa. That is why, we need to learn how to grow our own food. And it's so important, which I cannot underestimate its importance. Also, when we grow our own food, we're actually in control of what we're growing. Our food from the stores are heavily adulterated by pesticides and processing chemicals that are reported and not reported. For instance, our magnesium, I was reading, is steadily being depleted from our soil, accounting for magnesium deficiency today. And magnesium is required in over 300 enzymatic reactions in our body and a cause of heart disease, arrhythmia, increased blood pressure, headaches, insomnia, anxiety and depression, muscle spasm, low energy. And that's just a few of the symptoms. And I know I was magnesium deficient, so I had to just do what I needed to do and do my diligence. And at one point, I used to take supplements until it just kind of got overbearing. And there was one way then in which I was able to do so, and that's through taking Epsom salt baths. You know, but there are apparently seven forms of magnesium, but one way in order to be able to get that magnesium is through taking a bath with Epsom salt. Very easy. You can take a full bath or you take a foot bath. And for that added experience, you could just add some DNA salt. So there's also foods that will help that are rich in magnesium that'll help replenish your magnesium, such as dark green leafy vegetables. Any comments regarding any suggestions, any comments with regards to magnesium?
In the question, Veritas with honor, respect, and gratitude.
And looking for their class with gratitude, Stacy.
So it's interesting that you brought magnesium and the symptoms that come from them.
Uh-huh.
So I know definitely magnesium deficient throughout into adulthood. And that was one of the things that my postpartum doula suggested to me to take
Mhm.
orally.
Yeah.
And just getting back to salt baths, I can see the difference. So
Yeah.
that is definitely something that a lot of women in the postpartum stage would be suggested to partake in. Again, soaking it through the feet is definitely the most efficient way to absorb it within the body. So I can
Mhm.
see the truth in that, and thank you for bringing that forward. In the Catch and Veritas, without respecting gratitude.
Yeah. Emma Catching Veritas, honor, respect, and gratitude. Thank you for sharing. I had to take magnesium. I know that I was on antihypertensive blood pressure medications years ago, and I worked hard to get off of it. And one of the issues that I found was I was magnesium deficient, and that's why I ended up starting taking magnesium as a supplement, and that helped significantly. But after a while, you know that you only absorb 40% when you take things orally, and it kind of gets monotonous when you take pills. So, taking the baths is something that you normally do. It's a beautiful way in order to get this nutrient into your body by taking the baths. And then feet, toxins come out of your feet and then you absorb in the feet. People don't realize that, but it's a great way to get that magnesium into your body. So thank you for sharing that.
I wanted to add something as well, Dr. Delilah. I think people don't really, when you look it up, you know, if you look up the information about magnesium and Epsom salts, they're going to tell you it's good for people who have diabetes and that kind of thing, to soak their feet. But they won't say um, that you can get it get it through your skin. But the skin is the largest organ in your body, and you have
Mhm.
pores in your skin. So it would make sense that you can get it, through your skin like that. But people are discouraged from doing that and getting the optimal level. So it's really a great way, to do it. And
Right.
and it's so relaxing too. The baths are so relaxing. The baths are so
It
relaxing.
is.
Helps you to sleep, and the magnesium helps you to sleep too because it's relaxing. It relaxes the muscles.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Because people who have problems sleeping, you take a magnesium salt bath. Oh my, I mean Epsom salt bath. Uh, that'll definitely assist in getting a good night's sleep. So thank you for sharing that, Serenia. So last week we also talked about an increased number of illnesses after taking the vax, particularly when it comes to heart conditions and magnesium. That's why bringing this up because magnesium actually helps with heart issues. And I know, I think Stephanie was the one that shared that how people are now trying to say, to the unvax, why didn't you stop me from taking it? Talking from the unvax, talking to the people, the vax people talking to the unvax because of all these illnesses popping up, particularly cardiac issues in the young. So, one thing I must share is that, we must be compassionate with these people because they are coming and they're going to be coming and saying, why didn't you tell us more, or convince us, or whatever? But we must remain compassionate without having that compassionate connection so that we are strong and to be able to continue to educate others of what they can do and what they have a chance to learn on how to protect themselves. So does anyone have any comments regarding that? I last week I also shared that many doctors have become more unhappy than ever with the existing healthcare. I know that, like, my son, for instance, is telling me that there are fewer people in his school, young people, that are going into healthcare these days. They're saying it's just not worth it anymore. The amount of hours and time that's spent, I can tell you, I dedicated a lot of time into the educating, and it's just continuous, and then the amount of work that you got to put in to working in these hospitals. And it just wasn't getting any better, and it's not getting any better for the doctors. And then now we can see that a lot of medical information from those medical organizations and hospital based institutions are now being questioned. More and more doctors are starting to speak out and not be in agreement with the vax mandates. And they've been afraid for a while for fear of the medical licenses being taken away. And when you speak to one on one with them, they'll tell you the truth, but are too afraid to speak out because many of them are afraid of having their licenses taken away. They will deny, saying that they didn't say, they're going to deny that they said anything if you bring their name up. I did recently hear also that a cardiology group of doctors are refusing to take the vax because they're seeing firsthand as far as what's happening to people, particularly our young people. Any comments? I think, like, even they're talking to patients behind the scenes, and at least they're doing that. But as, like Lotus said, silence, you're part of the problem if you're being silent. Also, did you know? Oh, go ahead, Tiffany.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Thank you. Invocation Veritas with honor, respect, and
Okay,
gratitude.
I'm
I just
excited.
wanted to bring forward, I have uh, a friend who's actually in her early 20s, and she went to the gynecologist just for a regular checkup, and the gynecologist said, actually, we have a major issue at hand. Your heart is beating so fast you could have a heart attack at any moment. And she's been on
Oh,
she on heart medication now that the doctor says she's going to have be on for the rest of her life. And she said, I'm not saying it's from the vaccine, but it's from the vaccine, and
oh my gosh.
and she has been having so many issues since, and she was afraid she would get kicked out of a school. She went to a private school, and they said you couldn't come back to school and college if you didn't get vaccinated. And so because of the fear, now for the rest of her life, she's dealing with this. And it's interesting because there are a handful of people who I know, and they're all in that age range, all like 20s, 30s. It's unbelievable. But I just wanted to I was just with her the other day, and it's a major thing she's going through right now because of fear. And she listened, and her brother refused to, and so he lost his job. And then it became this major family issue, and they thought he should have done it, and now they're wishing they hadn't done it. That kind of like, why didn't you tell me
Yeah,
more to not? But you couldn't have those conversations because people were so adamant in what they wanted to do.
right, right. That's where you have the compassion without the compassionate connections. I mean,
Exactly.
I don't know what more to tell them or to say to them.
Right.
We tried to we tried to forewarn them, But one thing though is that Lota is providing some solutions because energy is going to be the way to go with to try to correct this. Anybody else have anything more to share? One thing I wanted to share also is that, did you know that in December 2022, the FDA categorized all homeopathics as unapproved new drugs, therefore illegally marketed? So for many years, the homeopathic medications or they're, I guess, I don't know, they're called supplementations drugs. They're been viewed as totally safe with no chemical components. and they're all frequency based, just like frequency waters. And they fell as part of the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act in 1938. And they've been deemed for many, many, many years as being safe, not like our pharmaceutical drug counterparts. So I don't know. This is just something, a policy that was sent through, didn't go through the court system. And I'm not sure if they can see that, people are going to see the truth and starting to see how big pharma is intimately in bed with the FDA.
And the word new is comical considering, Hippocrates cured epidemics with,
Uh-huh.
herbs and honey and vinegar.
Exactly. But I mean, it's like, how do they expect, to just come pop up with this and people going to just take it? you know, or people, people are going to see the truth about it. I mean, I don't think they're trying to hide it. So, it's our job to get this word out, to continue to get this word out, and to have people, to help people to wake up so that people know, what they're up against and what they could potentially do to protect themselves. Working with energy is going to be the way to go, the way of the future in supporting our health. I do encourage everyone to start listening to Lota's posts. She's posting a lot, but it's on several social media platforms, BitChute, Rumble, TikTok, keeping you up to date on what's happening nationally and globally and providing solutions. Has anyone seen the newsletter that came out from the Of the Sun on Gloria Gardens? It's
It's
fascinating.
beautiful. In Lakesh Veritas, honor, respect, and gratitude.
I'm expecting gratitude.
Oh
Absolutely.
my goodness. I love, love, love Tiffany's book with Jade speaking.
Yes,
It is
absolutely.
Aww.
so heartwarming and precious. I listened to it a couple times, just a little tidbits that's on the Gloria Garden. I just love it. The thing is, as usual, with everything that comes from Of the Sun, top notch.
Hmm.
Just another magnificent production from Of the Sun, and it, everyone's contributions with Diane and Arden. It's just every part of that. The Gloria Gardens is magnificent. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Thank you. I could just keep writing it, and I have to write my review and send it in. But thank you.
Thank you, Anahara and Lakesh and Veritas, honor, respect, and gratitude. I encourage everyone to, look up and consider doing the Gloria Gardens subscription because they're actually instructing everyone on how to. I shared with you that myself, Serenity, and Diane were working on some land, farmland, preparing it. We were um, kind of blessed by meeting with someone who's providing us with land to be able to work on and to learn how to cultivate it, prepare it, and start growing. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm a city person. I grew up in New York, in the city, and so this is new to me, but it's amazing to see the fruits of your labor. I'm growing microgreens now. I've done sprouts already. I'm growing. Actually, I was shown how to. Serini was showing me how to grow um, an onion from the bulb. You just, from the end of the bulb of the onion, and I planted it in the dirt, and it came up. It grew. It's just amazing. It's actually amazing. Anything to share, Stacy?
In Lakesh and Veritas with Honor, Respect, and Gratitude.
Yes.
Uh, One, speaking on Gloria Garden, I was just dancing. I saw it and I was reading it, and it was just like, oh my goodness, yes. And it was so interesting because we've started to eat the microgreens, and even in this moment, my son is like, oh, can I eat this? I'm like, well, let me cut the dirt off. He's like, no, I'll just pull it off. Let me just. So to see him actually partaking in something he would never have touched before, like they are just hovering over the microgreens and giving it Inlacash and Veritas, but just noticing how it just is so light, and it's light for our bodies and light for our light bodies, and it just it just nourishes you in a completely different way. And even my mushrooms, they just,
Oh yeah, I saw pictures on your social media. Your mushrooms, they look beautiful.
yes, they were so gorgeous, but they were tastier than ever. Like the texture was just, it just was a new texture that you can't find in a store bought mushroom. So just seeing the life growth. My son is back in the microgreens as we speak. um, just seeing the life grow and letting the children see, like, from nothing beauty comes, nature comes, and we created this. So just helping to reinforce that we are creators and we are able to sustain ourselves. It's just been a beautiful process. So we're starting round 3 of many different seeds for school. So excited to see how that goes. In Lakesh Veritas with honor, respect, and gratitude.
And my Cash and Veritas, honor, respect, and gratitude. That's great. It's so great to teach our young people, how to appreciate this because, it's been taken away from them. I mean, when I was young, I was never taught this because it wasn't encouraged in the families. And I don't think it's not that my parents didn't want to, it was just not encouraged.
Yes.
And so now to bring this back to our children is important, and I'm happy because it's going to be a need for it, so they need to know how to survive.
Absolutely, and they're back in the microgreens as we speak. But I, I agree with you. Being a city girl, it was interesting because my grandmother, she's from the south, and so she still held on to gardening and things of that nature. My parents had not that they were deterred from it, but that just wasn't their priority.
Right.
So being able to partake in this process, like I've always been called the flower child and weird for being close to nature and wanting to do things the natural way. So now it's just like, it's beautiful to see how it all just unfolds into, yes, this is why I was so drawn to it, because this is what is needed. This is what will sustain us
Mhm.
moving forward. So
Yeah,
hopefully I'll have
absolutely.
microgreens to eat with my dinner tomorrow if the kids stay out of them.
Absolutely. That's great. That's great. And you're right, they're light and tasty, and to appreciate them, but it's kind of like to start eating and benefit from the fruits of your labor. I mean, it's something that's appreciative, and I know, Tiffany, you're growing jade to be appreciative like that, and that's just a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. And you know that the benefit of it is not only do they, it just grows up, it grows up, they grow up as it being just a part of who they are and their day-to-day activities. It's second nature to them. It was something that I had to learn to do, or we would like grow a carrot here and there growing up, but it wasn't every day, all day. A lot of what, if we need a lemon, we go to our tree. If we need greens on top of our eggs or on top of our avocado toast, we cut the ones we have. And
Mhm.
I find that involving her, she eats a lot more of it. Kind of like what Stacy was saying, when she's rinsing the sprouts, she's eating handfuls because it's fun. And then she's
Mhm.
getting that nourishment, as well with it. So
Right.
it's such a joy. Talking about me.
Absolutely, Jay.
You got that right, girlfriend.
Are you
Talking about me?
Oh, it's great. It's great. Anybody else have any comments to share? So I want to encourage everyone to look into the Glory Garden subscription for Of the Sun. It's an annual subscription. If you're interested in growing your own food, learning the physical side of growing from it as well as with a spiritual angle, connecting with the consciousness of the land and of the food. So just go to ofthesun.com for more information regarding membership. So, and then also too, I wanted you not to forget, we've got Divine Nation Workshop that's scheduled this Friday, February 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Working with the Call for Truth Divination deck. Well, and the companion of the Call for Truth publication that was written by Laota Rasul. Uh, though this workshop is again completely free and a lot of fun, so join us. And then also, I want to remember Remind everyone that we've got our monthly Divine Feminine Clubhouse that's coming this Sunday, February 5th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's a space where we're getting together, sharing, networking, collaborating. And it's now time for us to build our own network and work together. All of us here have talents. Those here up on the platform, as well as those of you who are listening. And I know that many of us here have ideas that we would like to get off the ground, but don't know what or how to do it. And this is a platform where we can share with one another our talents and ideas and to help us through networking to get those ideas off the ground. Sometimes we just need a little help. So why not help one another? All right, everyone. This is going to be a short session. Does anybody else have anything to add? Thank you for everyone for joining us and participating. I look forward to seeing you again next week on our next Clubhouse. And remember, knowledge is power, and taking action from this knowledge is true power with honor, respect, and gratitude. And Lakesh and Veritas.
That's
And
right.
look,
Cash and
That's
Veritas.
very tough.
Honor, respect, and
thank you.
gratitude.